that you have been carrying out in the last weeks and all your work. So I'm very proud of your work, of what you do, and also very proud of being part of IDEAM in India. You know that you are my friends, and I truly appreciate this opportunity that you are giving to my students. So thank you very, very much.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much all the children joining us from Argentina. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. I request my friend and my colleagues, Engineer Hemant Mehta ji. Engineer Hemant Mehta ji, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Engineer Hemant Mehta ji. Hemant ji.
Está llamando
Hello?
Yumandi, corre.
Hemant
Danny,
ji.
can you please mute yourself?
Hemant ji, can you hear me? Hello?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, please.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Shall we start, ma'am?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Engineer Ravi Shankar ji and Professor Paula Lopez to give me this opportunity. Without wasting time, let's start with the presentation. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can see, Amanji.
Yes, we can see it. Can the rest see it? Chicos, ¿pueden verlo?
Yes.
Yes, we
Great.
can.
Yes.
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 Just a minute. No distortion, right?
Can you mute yourselves, please?
Okay, let's start then. So this is the session, you are going to get introduction about the satellite. Okay. So today we are going to see these 4 main points. First of all, we'll try to understand what is the satellite. Then we'll try to understand the mechanics behind why do satellites revolve. Then the major portion of this particular presentation will be different orbits. What kind of satellites are there in different orbits and their uses. And the last, if we want to build a satellite, what are the different components without which you cannot build a satellite? So without wasting time, let's start. The very first point we are going to cover today, that is what is a satellite. So any smaller object revolving, others, please can you mute yourself? All the participants are requested to mute yourself. If you have any queries, you guys can raise your hand. Okay. Okay. So basically starting with the definitions, because the definitions are very important one. So what is a satellite? Any object, okay, any smaller object which is revolving around a larger object can be called as a satellite. Now, in context to a solar system, but obviously a smaller object which is revolving around a bigger planet can be called as a satellite. So now we have two types of satellites, natural satellites and artificial satellites. So natural satellites have a special terminology which we call it as the moon. So Earth has one moon. So moon is nothing but a satellite, but it is a natural satellite. Okay, and the one which we create on the Earth and then we send it into the space, those are called as artificial satellites. Okay, so natural satellites are called as moons. So hereafter, whenever I call or use the word satellite, it will always be about artificial satellite. Let's try to understand a bit of physics. Okay, here we'll try to understand why do satellites evolve. And the important thing we'll try to understand is why only the circular or a bit of elliptical path. Okay, why doesn't the object or the satellite revolve in like hexagonal path or pentagonal path or square or rectangle, right? There are so many shapes. Why should it revolve in the circular motion only? Okay, circle is a special type of ellipse. You must have studied in your mathematics or you will study mathematics ahead. Okay, so even if it is an elliptical path, okay, let me keep it as circular path only. So first let us try to understand, okay, why the orbit is circular only. Okay, why not hexagonal, pentagonal, rectangle or any other shape? So in your lower standard physics, you must have studied, okay, work done concept. The concept will be work done. Okay, it's not force into displacement. That is again the special case of work done. Okay, in general, the work done can be given as, okay, force into displacement into cos of theta. Okay, force into displacement into cos of theta. So if you see in this particular diagram over here, so I've shown this as the velocity and the gravitational force is the force. And this angle between the velocity and the force, okay, because the motion will occur in the direction of velocity, that is 90 degrees. Now you very well know cos 90 is 0. So now the work done will be F into displacement into cos of theta, that is cos 90, that is 0. So now work done is 0. Why do we need work done is 0? So the planets, okay, the moon which is revolving around the Earth or the satellites which is revolving around the Earth or all the planets which are revolving around the sun, okay, all are revolving, okay, due to the gravitational force. The planets are revolving due to the gravitational pull of the sun. Similarly, the satellites or the moon, okay, it is revolving around the Earth due to the gravitational force of the Earth. Now, we very well know that if I'm continuously exerting force, then, but obviously after a certain time, okay, I'll get exhausted. I lose my energy and I'll get exhausted. So in that case, what will happen? I'll no longer be able to apply the force. So now if I say that the planets are revolving around the sun or the satellites are revolving around the Earth, okay, and it is due to the gravitational force. So if these bodies are applying the gravitational force and if they are losing the energy, okay, so what will happen? Okay, all the planets will fall onto the sun, or you can say that the moon and the satellites will fall onto the Earth. But in the reality, this is not what we see, what is happening. For billions of years, this billions of years, this particular solar system has existed and none of the planets have fallen into the sun. Why? Because they are not losing their energy. Now, which means when the universe and the solar system was formed, the configuration required that the sun, okay, the source of gravitational force. Oh, in the case of solar system, it is the sun, and in the case of our context of the satellites, okay, it is the Earth. The source of gravitational force should not lose their energy, and that is only possible when the work done is 0. Why? Because what is energy? Capacity to do work. You must have, okay, read this definition. Energy is nothing but capacity to do work. So if I'm losing the energy, okay, while doing work, what will happen? Okay, I'll not be able to apply the same amount of force. So the basic configuration, what the universe needed, okay, or what the solar system needed during the formation was the work done should be zero so that they do not lose energy. So if you go through your geometry, circle is the only shape, okay, where every point, this velocity, you can see this velocity vector, which is in the direction of the tangent. Okay, you know what is the tangent? A line which is touching the circle at one and only one point. So here, this velocity is nothing but tangent. And you must have studied in your geometry as a theorem that radius is perpendicular to the tangent.
Ellos se creen que están a
So
un
this
nivel de...
force, see this gravitational force, it is acting towards the radius of the circle. So the radius is perpendicular to the tangent, which means you get that 90-degree configuration which was needed, okay, between the force and between the motion, that is the displacement. So now when I put into the formula that work done is force into displacement into cos theta. So this force will have some value, displacement will have some value, but the angle between them is 90 and cos 90 is 0. That is the reason why work done is 0 and hence energy lost is 0. Hence the balance of the solar system remains. So the circle was the only viable path in which, okay, the body, which is the source of applying gravitational force, is not going to lose the energy. Okay, so I hope I'm able to clarify why the path is elliptical or circular only and not rectangle or pentagon or hexagon or any other shape. Now let's try to understand, okay, this diagram. I've written something called a centrifugal force. There is a gravitational force and there is a velocity. In your physics, okay, you must have studied, or students, I've seen some students are very young. So in the later on classes, they'll study, okay, a bit of force, centripetal force or centrifugal force. But I'll just try to make you understand what it is. Okay, in the circular motion, you are changing your velocity at each and every point. You are changing your direction at each and every point. Okay, which means at each and every point you have to apply an inward force. And that inward force is called as centripetal force. So without centripetal force, there cannot be any kind of circular motion. So if my satellite or if the planets had to perform, okay, circular motion, they required a centripetal force. And this centripetal force is provided by the gravity. Okay, which I am representing here as gravitational force. Now, as per the Newton's third law, okay, to every action there is equal, opposite, and instantaneous reaction. So, if this is the action force, then there has to be reaction force. Okay, so this here, this inward force is your centripetal force, and the outward force is your centrifugal force. Okay, action force and reaction force, you can call it as. Okay, now as per the third law, those are equal and opposite. That is the reason why, okay, the satellite will not get pulled inwards also and not outward also. Otherwise, what will happen? If there is only centripetal force, the object will move inwards. Okay, if the centrifugal force is more, it will move outwards. But we haven't seen in, okay, millions of years that Earth is moved towards the sun or Earth is moved away from the sun. Similarly, moon has moved towards the sun or towards the earth, or it has moved away from the earth. It is because these forces are balanced. Okay. So these are the forces because of which the circular motion is performed. So I hope the second point which we are going to cover in our today's objective is clear. Okay, forces acting on the satellite and why the path is only circular and not any other shape. Now the major portion we are going to cover, that is the third different types of orbits. Okay, before going to that, okay, I'll highlight.
Déjame que estoy viendo.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Please, could you please mute yourself? ¿Se pueden silenciar, por favor? Hay ahí está,
Yes.
Motorola Moto G22, que está activado el sonido. Y Julieta, porfi, ¿te podrás silenciar tu micrófono que vas en el auto? Hola. No lo puedo silenciar yo. A ver.
Ahí arriba en mi
Chicos, por favor, can you mute yourself, please? A ver si le puedo escribir. Julieta, ¿me escuchás? Ok. No.
Como habla inglés, no se entiende un huevo.
No sé. ¿Quién tiene un Motorola G2? A ver, wait a second. A ver si lo pongo. Les voy a escribir por privado.
Un huevo, dice el niñito.
Okay, sorry. Esta nena, no puedo silenciar. I don't know if you can, sir, I don't know if you can silence this Motorola Moto G22 and Julieta, because I cannot do it. So I think the noise is coming from there. Hello?
Okay, ma'am, let's continue.
Yes, please. They are talking and they are interrupting. That's why, sorry. You can continue now. Thank you.
Before moving to types of orbits, we'll study the artificial satellites. Basically, the artificial satellites, okay, are of two types, which I've shown over here. One is called as polar synchronous and one is called as geosynchronous. Okay, the words are self-explanatory. Synchronous, which means it should go together hand in hand. So when I say polar synchronous, okay, it means it will go in sync. It will be in sync with the poles. Okay, we have North Pole and South Pole. So it will always be in sync with the poles. That is why the name polar synchronous. Next, geosynchronous. So geo stands for geography. Okay, so when I say geosynchronous satellites, so it will always be in sync with a geographical location. Okay. We'll see one